I wanted to make sure we got deeper into this whole idea of sales qualification, understanding that we're all in sales. What exactly is that being defined as within your terms?
So a part of, when I started out in my own company, Jason, just to give some more context, I was doing something very different from what I was doing now. Still in sales, but doing something differently. And you know what? You take what you can get, you do it for a dollar. Do it for free, just do the things, get the runs on the board, get some revenue in. Now it's very different. I choose who I want to work with. I can reject people who haven't, politely and respectfully, that aren't the right fit for me. I've done that recently with someone. They're just not the right person that I want to work with, actually. But it never used to be like that. So in the beginning, if you have listeners who are on the earlier end of the business cycle, maybe you are doing taking what you can get and doing it for a dollar. Maybe you're just talking to everybody and meeting everybody and servicing everybody. But ideally what we want to do is we want to do satisfying work. So if you've got people who are listening that might be, for example, a lawyer who thinks like, I've worked for a firm, I can go on my own and I'll start my own firm. Great, go start your own firm. Happy. I think this is a great decision. They might be thinking, well, the clients that I'm just doing business for now aren't really what I want to be doing. I want to be doing servicing the clients like where I was working in my nice cushy corporate job where I had my nice fat salary. But that's because that company does a lot of qualifying. They've also probably spent millions of dollars in marketing to attract better clients. Ultimately, what helps businesses go round is revenue, right? To get revenue before it even comes to the door, there's a whole lot of work that has to happen that's in two disciplines. It's marketing and sales. And, I've heard some of your other podcast guests comment on this before. Having the world's best marketing isn't enough. Having just great sales is not enough. You need the combination of two things here. You need marketing and sales to work together. Marketing's job is to bring them to the door. Job of sales is to kick it across the line, make the money. So in terms of qualified, this just simply means if you think about the person who is the ideal type of client you truly want to serve and you have the skills to do that, and they're the projects that are exciting for you, they're motivating, and they're not someone that you go, oh God, another person like this. And again, sometimes you just take what you can get. But we want to shift ultimately to you only being in business and being able to serve the ones where these are the projects that bring out the best in me. These are the types of clients that really that eat up what I do. That's who we really want to serve. And so in order to do that, there is some qualification that takes part in the beginning before you even have a conversation. Also, a part of difference of how I operate as well is that, Jason, I teach sales process. I actually don't teach training. There is a very, very big difference. Training is necessary, but training doesn't solve all the problems. So training, I give the analogy, is a bit like putting a Band-Aid on a severed limb. It won't stop the bleeding. It's good for a short while, but it won't stop it. Process fixes the bleeding once and for all. It plugs all the holes. So I teach a process that starts when the lead exists. So when you have someone to talk to, it starts. And then my process finishes when the lead converts and you've seen the money. Before the lead exists, that's marketing function. So my job starts when marketing has been done. So qualifying basically means how the difference between serving everybody and serving the right kinds of people. So for example, an example would be here. Every business needs sales, right? Well, let's assume some businesses don't, but every business needs sales. An unqualified lead for me would be someone who runs a business. Anyone in Australia, we would call this, they would have an Australian business registry number. Anyone in Australia who has an ABN would be a lead. But that's an unqualified lead because that could be someone who just has registered their number so they can get a cheap discount at the local hardware store. This could be someone who has a business number because they are a bookkeeper. So these are people, yes, who could probably need help with sales, but they're not who I truly want to serve. So this is the difference between qualifying and not qualifying. So the way we can find that out is, so let's assume that someone has people to talk to or leads are coming in. And again, I'm not answering the question on leads because that is a marketing function, not a sales function. Not the same, very, very different. But in order to find out who we truly want to serve, if they're the right people, we need to ask some questions of them before we get in front of them.
So when we want to go out there, and I see this especially in the beginning stages, and you've probably witnessed this as well, if we make a callback to the Cutco, where people maybe starting as coaches and consultants are going within their immediate networks, immediate friends, if they're doing a B2C solution. And because they haven't done any qualification and they're kind of reaching out to anyone desperate to get at least one person that maybe says yes, it seems like it alienates a lot of your immediate network in the process, which is a consequence of just going out and shouting at the top of your lungs to everybody about what you do and what you want to sell.